Specifically, in this genre, in the Metroidvania genre... No, don't kill me, bro. I'm going to pop up another save point here. There we go. The two giants, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't get better than Guacamelee and Axiom Verge. So, the question isn't anymore, oh, it's a cool 2D game and it's going to be fun to play, right? The question is now, is it better than all the other 2D platformers I could be playing? And when it comes right down to it, Ori isn't. The gameplay, when you compare it to something really, really imaginative, like Guacamelee, which has that excellent, just exquisite 2D combat, which feels like a dance, almost. There's yellow experience up here that I want. So now we're going to get... we're going to go top path now and get Rekindle. And I don't think we really want Rekindle. Oh yeah, we do, because now we can reuse save points. I can now use this save point again. Cool. But you've got that really imaginative combat in Guacamelee, which feels like this just awesome dance that just feels incredible. Nothing like it. And then you've got Axiom Verge, which, like, none of the pickups in Axiom Verge, none of the power-ups, or anything you've seen before in a Metroidvania game. That's our map piece there. That's our... Now we can go get the map of this area. So to me, the question isn't, is it a fun 2D platformer? To me is, how does it stack up to the likes of Guacamelee and Axiom Verge? And that wouldn't have been a fair question to ask. I gotta go up there and get that bluebie up here. I needs it. That wouldn't have been a fair question to ask, 5-6 years ago. Because if you like the 2D platformers, it's like, they're not much on the market to play. But now, our cup runneth over. When I pick up and play Ori, when I've got, like, really imaginative stuff like Guacamelee, Axiom Verge on the shelf, and really, I don't think I would. Ori and the Blind Forests, the gameplay of it, I mean, the combat's nothing special, and every power-up you get, like, our first power-up was a wall climb. We got a wall jump. Every Metroidvania I've ever played gives you a wall jump. Like, that's not a very imaginative pickup when you're talking about, when you're comparing it to things like Guacamelee's, like, Street Fighter abilities that you chain together and make your own combos. Or Axiom Verge's just absolutely insane, upgrades. And I know the combat section right now is filling up with, well, you haven't Let's Played either of those games, Brickroad. What are you talking about? Get on it, buddy. Maybe the day will come. Maybe the day will come. So yeah, the gameplay in Ori, it's not bad. It's not like it's not a fun game. It's just, it's mediocre. You know, it's in the middle of what you can expect from a 2D platformer nowadays. Every upgrade you get in Ori, as you'll see when we go forward, is going to be the kind of upgrade you've seen in basically every exploration platformer that's come out. It's going to be nothing new. And since I mentioned it, I had that same kind of complaint about the newest Shantae game, about Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. You play Shantae, and the first couple Shantae games, you get these really imaginative upgrades where she transforms into a monkey, or she stomps things as an elephant, or, oh my goodness, now she's a mermaid, and now it's a bullet hell all of a sudden for no reason. We're in a mermaid shmup level, and I need one more. In Pirate's Curse, it's like, okay, now she has a gun, now she has a triple jump, now she can float, you know, and I love Pirate's Curse, I really do. I love it a lot, a great deal, and I am gonna Let's Play it someday, and I am gonna Let's Play Guacamelee, and I am gonna Let's Play Axiom Verge. I promise I'll get to them all in time. But playing Pirate's Curse, it's like, this just feels like she gets all the Castlevania power-ups. Like, I've seen all these before, and I felt the same way about Ori, as you'll see going forward. So that's one big strike against the game that keeps it from really being tremendously great, is that none of the gameplay is imaginative. It's nothing new. We've seen it before. The way Ori moves and controls and fights, like, been there, done that, in lots of different games. The other thing holding it back, and this might be the big thing, is that everything in the game is glowy, transcendent light. everything in the game. Ori himself is a glowy point of light. The save points are glowy points of light. The pickups that heal you or give you experience or refill your spirit mirror are glowy points of light. And everything has the same names. There's spirit energy, spirit link, spirit spark, spark chain, like everything. Like, at a glance, it's hard to tell what things are, unless you really know. And if you've never played the game, you might already be having that problem. What's the blue thing versus the green glowy thing versus the big bird thing in the foreground? The big bird thing might be the only thing in the game that's not a glowy point of light. And it's gorgeous to look at. It's a beautiful, beautiful game to look at. It really, really is. But gameplay-wise, it gets very frustrating and very confusing. When every mote of light on the screen is glowing, the background is glowing, the foreground is glowing, Ori is glowing, the enemies are glowing, the enemies are shooting glowing bullets, your life bar is glowing. It's like, in a sense of just trying to read the screen and get a sense of what's happening in the screen, which is a very important aspect to any 2D platformer, going all the way back to Mega Man, coming all the way forward to today in Super Mario Maker levels. It's very difficult to read the screen a lot of times because it's just this visual onslaught of just glowing light. Ori gets lost in the background really easily. Monster bullets that they fire at you, until you've played the game and you become familiar with each individual monster and how they attack and how they move, the bullets can just get lost on the screen. There's a lot of places in the game where I feel like you just take cheap and frustrating damage because, I couldn't tell what the hell was going on. Find the Ginso tree. Yeah, let's go, man. The first time I played this game, my very first playthrough, I forgot to mute my phone. Hold on. We gotta fix this. Yeah, hello? Yeah, it's me. Oh, actually, I'm recording right now. I'm working. Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a game about a glowing rabbit and light and trees and stuff. Yeah, well, I think that's a very rude thing for you to say, Mom. I'm hanging up on her. Okay, back to the game. What was I talking about? Reading the screen. Like, it can be really difficult to just read the screen at a glance. And, which leads to some, like right there, I just dropped dead because I jumped down that hole. The camera didn't follow me appropriately. And I'm like, am I supposed to hold left or right or drop straight down? And who knows? And then I fell onto that enemy who I saw fall down this hole. But, like, I didn't see where he landed or where he is. Of course, he's down there and we're going to kill him now. But there's lots of things like that in the game. Where, well, the first time I played it, my first test play, I was streaming it. And while I was streaming it, I was getting a little complainy because I felt like I was taking a lot of cheap deaths, you know? I felt like I didn't deserve that damage. I felt like I need a moment to sit here and look at what's happening on the screen, but I can't because I've got guys firing at me from a screen away, and I couldn't tell he was there because he's glowing and he kind of melted into the background, and it got frustrating after a while. So my first playthrough of this game was very rocky, and it got frustrating pretty quickly. I would say by the time there's 3 major levels to the game. There's water, wind, and then fire. And like, look at these bouncy explodey guys. Like, they drop, like, I get it, the big monster that explodes into little monsters, right? 2D platformer staple. That monster is in every 2D platformer you've ever played, you know. Most, like, that guy's in Risk of Rain. I play tons of Risk of Rain. I know how to deal with him. But you break his first form and he drops all the experience points, all the glowy lights. But all the monster looks like glowing lights too, you know? And they're about the same size of the experience points that they're blowing up. And yeah, they're red and purple and, whoops, I fell off the wall. Like, yeah, they're red and purple and the experience points are yellow and the life points are green. But they're not really those colors. Really, everything is this bright white, and then the color is a glowing field around it. Like Scene is throwing out my lightning bolts there, attacking these monsters. But Scene is not really blue. If you look at him, at a glance, he's white with just a blue glow around him. We'll save point that, and then grab that. The bluebies that I'm destroying are soul energy, which I'm using to fill up my blue orbs down there, which I'm using to drop more save points. And the save point system got frustrating too, because... Am I supposed to go... I guess I'm supposed to go down. Because the game doesn't checkpoint for you automatically. I can't destroy that yet. We need to get the ability that destroys that. So if you forget to place down your own checkpoints, unlike every other game with checkpoints automatically, it can get frustrating. Like, oh, I forgot to manually save my game, so now I have to redo 10 screens. Which is kind of a gameplay concept. Ooh, we leveled up. Yeah. So what are we getting now? We got 3. Now we're going to go to the top path again and get this regroup. So now, whenever we drop a save point, it's going to heal us for 1 life point, which will be very useful. I think I want to go down over to the left there. I want to go this way, and then there's a path down to the left, which has a new ability for me. Gotcha. Yeah, down here. Okay. So yeah, it's like... Isn't manually saving the game something that we've outgrown by now that games don't do anymore? Apparently not, because in Ori you gotta do that. And if you forget to do it, you can end up redoing progress. Not a big deal, because you eventually get into this habit of... Like, right now I know my save point... My soul energy is full. I got 2 little bluebies down there. And here, this guy's going to drop a bluebie for me. So I know it's safe to drop a save point, then destroy this and fill back up. It becomes second nature. It becomes kind of an easy habit to do that. Charge Flame does that. It like throws out an explosion, but it costs a bluebie, so you got to pay attention. I've only got 2 bluebies, so if I use 2 Charge Flames, like if I decide to destroy this thing here... Like, yeah, it's an experience cast. It gave me some experience points, but now I'm out of soul energy. Can't drop a save point anymore. So you'll get into situations where, especially in really dangerous levels, where it's not that you forgot to drop a save point, it's that, like, I need to use the save points to heal so I don't die, or I've been dropping save points before dangerous jumps. Oh, now you can't drop any more save points. You don't have any more bluebies to spend. So the checkpoint system, I feel it detracts from the gameplay. Because if you're already feeling like you're taking cheap hits from enemies that are hard to see because they blend so well into the game world, or into their own drops that they're dropping. And the game's got some teeth. Like, it's not... Like, it looks like this kind of cutesy... beautiful, kind of relaxing game world, but it's not. It's got some teeth. This game will give you a little something if you're not paying attention. And I kind of wasn't expecting that. That kind of caught me off guard. So the game has some fair difficulty to it too. It's not all this. It's not all cheap and frustrating hits. And the cheap and frustrating hits that you take, the more acquainted you get with the game, the less and less that's an issue. It gets to the point where that's not a big deal anymore. It gets to the point where... Can I open this energy door? Like, this door I can't open without spending bluebies. And I've only got 2 bluebies, so we're not getting through there yet. It does get to the point where, as you become more and more familiar with the monsters in the game, and with the dangers that you're going to face and whatnot, the frustrating cheap hits take a back seat. They become... The game feels more and more fair as you go. Which is a good thing, but my first trial run of the game didn't feel that way. It was only when I sat down the second time to play through it a second time that... Ooh, Spiketies! We'll heal here. Oh, it's an unsafe zone, I guess. Down here's not unsafe, though, is it? Yes, it is. Okay, so that counts as an unsafe zone. What about back here? But kill this guy, it won't be unsafe anymore. There we go. So that time, I used my save point, and it healed me a little bit. So there's a room back here. We might as well go into this room back here. Come on, Scene. Yeah. The game does get more fun to play. Ah, another energy cell. Beautiful. Now we got 3 bluebies to play with. The game does get more fun and more satisfying to play the more you play it. Which means it's a good game to replay. The more you learn about the game, the more familiar you get, the more you memorize, essentially. The better you know the levels and the monster types. So it's a good game for replaying. But that's kind of damning with faint praise, though, because that it gets better the more you play it. That's usually a quality reserved for games that made poor design decisions. Like the example of that sort of game that I can think of is probably Mega Man X6. Not a good game, friends. Mega Man X6 is not something you want to pick up and play. But if you play it... Can I get up to that light? That's a life ball up there. Can I get up there at all? Looks like it's through a secret passage. Maybe we got to get it on the way back. Okay. Not a good game playing some Mega Man X6. That's not a recommendation. Don't play it. But if you do play it, it will get more fun your 3rd or 4th playthrough. It does get better the more familiar you are with it. So the second thing really holding Ori back is this art direction, this beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous game art. Every time the artists and the designers of this game got to a point where they're like, okay, we have to make a concession here for gameplay. Yeah, let's blow this up. Boom! And now we want to go number 5 here is to the bottom, to this spark flame. That just increases the power of my spark flame. But every time the designers of this game, who developed this, I guess a company called Moon I saw in the credits, if they had to make a choice between the artwork in the game or the gameplay, they always, always, always chose the artwork. Every time. Like, we can make the game a little less glowy, kind of compromise the design aesthetic of the game, and if we do, the players will have an easier time seeing the level. And then they said, but we're not going to do that. We can go up here. There's another little cache we can get up here, I guess. Then we'll go get that map stone. Up here, woo! We're spending our last bluebie to do this, but I do want all the experience I can get for now. Because there are a lot of spaces. Oh, another bluebie up here. Beautiful. There are a lot of places in this game, like I said, because the game is so visually busy, it can be difficult to tell at a glance what's going on. That's bad for gameplay, but it does make for a real pretty game. And at some point, the designer had to say, we're not going to make compromises for gameplay in order to... Or we're not going to make compromises in our art direction in order to make the gameplay friendlier. We're just not going to do it. That had to be a conscious decision that someone, an artist or a level designer or somebody made at some point in development. And I think it's to the game's detriment. But that's because I really value gameplay above... That's not what I want to do. Save it. There we go. I really do value gameplay above everything else. I'll play in a game that has Atari 2600 graphics, and if the gameplay is on point. Y'all watch me play some the VV game, you know. That game was Commodore 64 graphics. This guy again, though. But the gameplay was on point. You got a game like Guacamelee, which, like, it's a good looking game. It's not a beautiful game. It's not gorgeous. It's this very stylistic looking HD graphics, but you can tell the game is made out of blocks, and a lot of the areas in that game don't look like real spaces the way Ori does. Like Ori, everything in the game, it looks like a real blind forest. Whereas in Guacamelee, obviously, it's made out of game tiles. It's made to look like an obstacle course that you go through. But they made that concession for gameplay. They made that concession so the player knows at a glance, okay, these big, ugly red Lego bricks are for your uppercut, and the big blue ugly Lego bricks are for your dash. And they build the game out of that to convey that information. Ori doesn't make that concession. Axiom Verge, the other game I said you really have to compare every modern 2D exploration game to. 16-bit graphics. They're pixel graphics. They're dated 30 years. But you can tell at a glance what everything on the game screen looks like and what it's going to do just by reading the game. Ori doesn't do that. To me, that's a bad thing. To somebody who is involved in... somebody who really appreciates artistry over everything else, somebody who appreciates the gorgeous graphics and sound design, if that's you, Ori is your game. Ori's going to be your jam. You're going to enjoy every minute of it. But that's not what's most important to me as a player. So there you go. 2 reasons why Ori and the Blind Forests is 75% of the way to being a transcendent game. Just a great, great game. As it is, it's only good. We're done with the prologue sections. I'm going to drop a save right here in the always on save point, and we're going to come back tomorrow with the first of 3 major Game World sections, and I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Shoutouts to Ace of Heartless for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who helps make my channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.